big numbers. I thought it was 1:30. I was here yesterday for 1:30. So I'm here today for 11:30, which I was, should have been. And I don't live too far away. If I was going down to Brattleboro, which I'm going on Tuesday, I guess I wouldn't have made it.
Nope, it would have been a little late.
All right, thanks for having me. Well, you had no say whether I was coming or not, really, let's face it. You know, I taught public school for 30 years, so I know guest speakers come in and students should sit there and either fall asleep or hopefully get engaged, which I hopefully will with me, and talk about driving, and being a better driver, and what's on your license, what's on your permit. Big thing, what's on your permit? Could, raise your hand if you have a permit. Okay? Can't take driver ed without a permit. Well, you can, but you have to wait till 18. Now, you get your license in Vermont at 18, you don't take driver ed. In fact, I was at, where was I? Randolph High School this spring doing this presentation, and there was a kid in the class, already had his license. Tom, I know his name was Tom. I said, Tom, what's the deal here? Why was he taking driver ed if he already had his license and he was 18 years old?
To learn how to drive safe.
To learn how to drive better is a good one. That's a good one. I'll give you a lot of things in life come down to this.
Low insurance.
Insurance, yeah. Tom said his insurance would go down remarkably if he took driver ed, and which he did. I hope he passed, and I hope his insurance went down. So anyway, I'll give a guess. You might have to guess my name in a second, but I'm very proud of this hat. I've coached baseball all my life. Matter of fact, I coach the University of Vermont baseball team right now, the club team. We don't have Division I anymore. That's a different story, but I coached with Coach Chandler here for 4 years. I've coached for 40 years. I coached for Vermont for 40 years. It was one of the better 4 years of my life in baseball coaching here. I was just a really, really solid coach. Taught me a lot. And so anyway, this is my Cougars hat. I'm very, very proud of it. I wear it on special occasions. They come in here late. All right, so you can guess my name. I live in Jericho. That doesn't help you at all, but I have the same, that's how I taught history for 40 years, well, 35 years. In Vermont, I taught at Winooski High School for a lot of years, well over 20 years. I taught history, and I have an historical name. Not an hysterical name. Because if you know anything about hysterical and historical, they're different. Hysterical is like, that's hysterical. But I have an historical name. I have the same name as a former president. It's still living, it's still alive. Who might that be? Who's a former president still alive? Barack Obama, George W. Bush, his father, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and now the other one, Jimmy Carter. I'm Jimmy Carter. I'm not Jimmy Carter, I'm Jim Carter. I don't go by Jimmy very often. But I'm Jim Carter. I'm not historical at all. But I'm hopefully not hysterical. But I have a historical name. Okay, so I'll put my name on the board so I don't forget it. And you don't forget it. Okay? What am I doing here? I'm supposed to be at 4. Well, I'm here because something happened in my life a number of years ago on that date, 11/4, worst day of my life. Because it was a fatality. Well, what's a fatality? Death, highway death, about 4 miles from here. 2 senior high school girls involved in a car crash on that date, about 4:30 in the afternoon, on November 4th, quite a few years ago. And I was responsible. Well, I wasn't responsible, but I was involved. I was involved in the crash. I wasn't responsible, but I was involved big time with these 2 girls, Andrea and Susan. I'll actually show you. I didn't want to interrupt your video here, but I'll show you Andrea. And on November 4th at 4:30 in the afternoon, Andrea and her friend Susan were in a car crash that I was involved in. So after I got done teaching at UVM, I taught 12 years at UVM. Mr. Chandler took the class I taught. After I got done at Winooski, I started going around schools, just talking about what happened to those 2 girls and how it could have been avoided. And I did it actually at Winooski High School, where I taught a lot of these students on February 12th, 2000. 18 years ago, probably before any of you were born. Anybody here 18 or older? Yeah, before you were born, I started doing this. That's how old I am. And well, I was really nervous doing this presentation about these two girls because I knew these girls so well. And when I got home, my wife said, "How'd it go?" I said, "Well, I was really, really nervous. I had no props. I did not have one single prop on that day. And I thought it went pretty well. I think it's gotten better with time. I got a call from South Burlington High School after that. I got a call from Brattleboro High School and Lake Region High School and Missisquoi. So I go to about 45 high schools doing this. Next week I'm going to Enosburg, going to Brattleboro. We called from Colchester this morning. I got a call from Leland and Gray. Anybody know where Leland and Gray is? You know where that is, Brian? No. All right, quick art. I was not an art teacher, as you can tell. In a moment. And here we go. What do we got? Vermont. Here's Jericho right there. Leland and Gray is right here. So I'm going down to Leland and Gray. I have a couple, I think next Friday. So anyway, I go around the schools doing this. All right. So let's find out about you. Find out a little bit about me. Why are you taking this class? Let's find out. Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
I'm Craig.
Hey, Craig. I'm Jim.
Nice to meet you, Jim.
Craig, why are you taking this class?
Taking this class because I want to get on the road. And,
Legally.
Yeah, it's legal.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Of course.
I wouldn't do it any other way, trust me.
Good for you. Great. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. It just kind of seems like a natural progression, another stepping stone in my life.
Absolutely. It's a big transition. It is a huge transition. It's a huge transition in your life to be able to drive legally. It's a huge transition to drive illegally. But you don't want to talk about that, Craig. Yeah. Hi. What's your name?
Eve.
Eve? Eve, why are you taking this class?
Why do I drive safely?
No, is this AP driver? But yesterday, I did 2 classes yesterday here. One of those is pretty remedial, I'll tell you that. Don't tell those classes I did that. Hi. What's your name?
Skyler.
Skyler. Skyler or Tyler?
Skyler.
Can I call you Tyler?
That's fine, yeah.
No. Not your name, Skyler. Sometimes called Tyler. Skyler, why are you taking this class?
Learn about driver safety and to get on the road and be responsible wherever it is.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, in the 2 classes I asked, all they said is, I want my license. And I understand that. I understand that wanting your license. It is a big, as you said, Craig, it is a big, big transition in your life. It's one of the biggest transitions in your life. And I do see a number of women in this class. And I'm going to say this is my history teacher. I love politics. I love history. But I'm glad our daughters, we have 2 daughters, they both went to this high school. I'm really glad our daughters didn't grow up in Saudi Arabia. Who knows what's happening in Saudi Arabia?
Women weren't allowed to drive.
Women were not allowed to drive until about 6 weeks ago. They've had cars in Saudi Arabia for 100 years. They did not allow women to drive. I'm glad our daughters, my wife, did not grow up in Saudi Arabia. That might be a tilt for you. A tilt stands for Today I Learned That. It's one of my teaching strategies. I use that Winooski, using your class, Mr. Chairman, right? Yep. When I got coaching baseball at UVM. But a tilt stands for Today I Learned That. Because when we walk out of here, I want to make sure you learn something, not just only from me, but certainly from Mr. Chandler, or from your, maybe none of you knew that Saudi Arabia women couldn't drive until 6 weeks ago. Where this came from, I actually invented this word, I think. Our kids would come home from school, at this school when you're in high school. So Ken was a student here. I'd say, Ken, what did you learn from Mr. Eccles today? Or Stacy, when she came here, I'd say, Stacy, what did you learn from Mr. Turner today? And oftentimes our kids would give my wife and I that famous one-word answer about what they learned in school that day. What was that word?
Nothing.
Nothing! Nothing or stuff. Yeah. But you're learning stuff all the time. And I went to public school in Vermont. I went down, I grew up in Windsor. You don't care about that. But you're learning stuff all the time. Some's important, some's not. Now I was a history teacher for 30 years. Don't tell your history. How many of you take a social studies class? Now, don't tell your social studies teacher today or Monday, this is a more important class than any history class. You can use it every day. Coach Shannon, you drive every day?
Yes, I do.
Every day. I drive every day. How many of your parents drove somewhere today? Yeah. You know, if you live in New York City, you might not drive for 6 months, but you live in Jericho, Glen Hill, Richmond, Bolton, Huntington, you drive every day. It's just part of life. I understand that. It's a really important part, more important than the War of 1812. Really is. Of course, the British had won that, we'd be British, and glad we're not, but that's a different story. Okay, so a tilt stands for what? I learned that. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to go back to this for a second. I'll tell you the story about these two girls a little later, but it was the worst day of my life, the absolute worst day of my life. And then I'll let you decide. 6 days. This crash happened 4 miles from here, in University of Vermont Medical Center. This was on a Sunday. This is on a Saturday. 6 days later. I'll let you decide what kind of day it was at the University of Vermont Medical Center 6 days later. We had a great discussion in one of the classes yesterday about this day here. I think you'll all agree, and I'll tell you the story. This is a tough day for a lot of people. Tough day for this school. Really tough day for this school when this happened, because these two girls were seniors at this school. Okay, let's talk about, I hate to take this off, Brian, but.
Doug, by all means.
Yeah. Let's talk about, sometimes driving, I'll say bad things can happen. I'm gonna whack these boards together, and you tell me that's the sound of a car doing what? Crashing, not an accident. I'm glad you said crashing. It's not an accident, because an accident just kind of happens, there's no really reason for it, it just happened. All right? A crash, see if you agree with this. I know Joe Bartz did yesterday, and the driver and teacher, where was I, Randolph, this summer. Mike Zock, he agreed with this, that 95% of car crashes could be avoided. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I would.
95% of car crashes could be avoided. Driver error or some other factor that could have been avoided. Okay? What time do we stop, Ryan?
105.
1:05. Well, I'm good. I think I'm good. So up here about 1 o'clock, I'll stop anytime you want to ask questions, but I'll stop and do a tilt. Let's go with little crashes here. Now, I was out in Cisco last semester, or last year, and we had a long class. We came up with 18 things that cause car crashes. Let's come up with 4. Only 4 things that cause a car crash that could have been avoided. Raise your hand. Yeah.
Texting.
Texting, absolutely. Texting always comes up now. I'll tell you this, texting didn't come up 18 years ago when they started this. Why? There's no texting, not even a word. Did I talk about it? Can't talk about something that's not a word. About 10 years ago, it became part of our culture. How many of you text? Just raise your hand if you text. Okay? We're going to come back to that. What's another thing causes a car crash? Yeah?
Speeding.
Going too fast. Absolutely. Going too fast for the conditions, for sure. And I'll tell you this, very few people go 65 in the interstate anymore, but that's a different story. I live on a dirt road. How many people live on a dirt road? You know, if your dirt road's not posted, you may know the speed limit for a dirt road in Vermont that's not posted?
35?
Nope.
2010.
Nope.
30.
Little visual clue here. Not 5. 50. Officer Langevin was in the class yesterday, and he said, yeah, you can go 50 on a dirt road, but you got to use some common sense. Also, you got to drive the conditions. But so that's who's on a dirt road. Okay. Whose road is not posted? You know, your road's not posted?
No,
What if people went 50 miles an hour on your road?
would not be happy.
You wouldn't be happy, and it'd be scary, wouldn't it? I know your road.
2 little kids.
Yeah, sure.
And, yep.
Yeah. Okay, 2 more. Yeah,
Drugs and alcohol?
absolutely. Now, I'm going to put it up as this. DWI, that stands for driving while intoxicated. That's what it used to stand for. Of course, that's not the word anymore. Now it's DUI, driving under influence. All right? Now, I went by, I live on off Park Street in Jericho, in the Hill area. And I went up Packard Road. Now, before Packard Road, on Route 15, right by Mountain High Pizza Pie, East Hardware, is one of these. It's dedicated.
Big.
They are this
They
big.
don't seem that big when you're on the side of the road.
Well, I stopped and stole this one, so I know. No, No, I've been this about 7 years. This is dedicated to Lauren. Next time you go by Mountain High Pizza Pie, East Summer, you'll see this. And that's dedicated to a girl named Lauren who was killed by a drunk driver. What this means is, when you see this, it means someone died on this spot. It's not a happy sign. It's not even a warning sign. This is a sign that someone died by somebody under the influence. Nothing good about this sign. Not good for the person that died, or their family, or the driver. Yeah, not a happy sign. And actually, here's a good tip for you that I get just recently. I get tips all the time from teachers. I got one from Brian last year, a bunch of them from you actually last year. But the greatest incidence of DUI in our state now is not alcohol, not cocaine, not LSD, not pot, not yet. We'll see what happens with that deal.
Yep.
It's opiate drugs. That's the greatest incidence of DUI now in our state. If you talk to Officer Lange, he'll tell you that. All right, this is a lot better sign. You probably saw this when you got your license. Anybody know what this sign's about?
Being
Being an organ donor. You signed up to be an organ donor. I just kind of a reminder for what it means. I'm going to ask you if any of you have it on your permit in a minute here. Okay, let's go with, put this up. We need one more. One more. How's the car crashes? You got something? You got something? Yeah.
A car that doesn't work properly.
Absolutely. No brakes. Imagine that, driving no brakes, mechanical. There's also some stuff like weather. Now, weather's a huge situation. If you don't drive the conditions, weather's road rage, animals, there's a lot of causes. Texting always comes up. Always comes up now. Didn't come up 18 years ago. Why?
Didn't exist.
Well, no such word. Raise your hand again if you text. All right? Raise your hand if you don't text.
Not a texter?
Well, wait a minute. You see what I've got? I've got the latest.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Damn.
Are you kidding me? You haven't seen these, have you? Sure enough. Oh, I get Mr. Weston mad at me. How about that? No, these are coming back. I'm not hanging on to this. These are going to come back. I have a granddaughter who goes to this school. She's a freshman. I won't tell you her name until later. But she said to me, Pops, I saw this summer. I saw it a lot, but I said, Pops, you don't text, do you? I said, I don't text. She said, Pops, you got to get in the real world here. Come on. What have I been doing for the last 65 years, Brian? No?
True.
Okay, anyway, texting. Let's talk about texting. It's against the law in our state. In fact, it's against the law in 47 states and DC. What's DC? District of Columbia. Last year, I got a tip from a boy who was sitting right here. I don't know if he's your class, Brian or Joe's. Right here. Kid, last year, we found out what states can you text and drive in.
Right.
And I thought it was 4. I thought it was Texas, Arizona, Montana, and Missouri. He Googled it out, found out that Texas just passed a law that you can't text in Texas. That's a saying, isn't it? You can't text in Texas.
Yeah.
So now the states are Arizona, Montana, and Missouri. But you can text. I won't go there. I will not go there. If I'm going to travel somewhere, I will not go to Arizona, Montana, and Missouri because it's so. How do I know it's dangerous? I don't text. How do I know it's dangerous? Well, I'm going to find that out. Let's go with. Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Mark.
Mark. Thanks for volunteering, Mark.
No problem.
All right, Mark. Mark, you're a texter, right?
All right, sure.
Sure. Doesn't everybody? That's what somebody told me once. Doesn't everybody text? There you go. All right, we're going to find out the penalty in Vermont. Different. Every state has their own penalties, except Missouri, Montana, and Arizona.
Yeah, Mark.
All right, you ready, Mark? Now, for Mark, I get the iPhone 12. You haven't seen this yet? You guys got to get in the real world. Now, Mark's texting. All right? There's 2 parts to this. What's the penalty in Vermont? The second part is, how do I know it's bad? Well, about 4 years ago, I said, I better get in the loop here about texting. So I went to an expert, a neurosurgeon. What's a neurosurgeon do? Yeah, she operates on people's brains. Her name is Dr. Erica Sweet at the University of Vermont Medical Center. She studied the brain for 15 years. Just a remarkable person. So I got 4 years ago, I said, geez, I saw her at a baseball game. She was watching her son, I was watching her grandson. So between the innings, I said, Dr. Sweet, what's so bad about texting? Why is it so against the law? Why is it distracting? That's the second part. All right, Mark, you all set? All right, you're driving!
Oh, my bad, sorry.
Is you a pretty good driver, or do you know yet?
Don't know yet.
Okay, all right, Mark, where do you live? What town do you live in?
Richmond.
Richmond, yeah, Richmond, you have your own police force, right? Turn it back, you're driving!
I apologize.
All right, Richmond.
Yeah.
All right, you have your own police force. All right, I'm gonna be Officer Buck. Okay, he's driving along, and here he is, he's on 117. Woo, 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 woo! License registration, please.
Do you want me to actually give it to you?
Yes.
No, let me put this down for a second.
Let's go put that up.
All right,
Let's see, I'll look at it.
all right.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mark. We're back to the scene here.
All right.
All right, Officer Buck says, get your license registration, and you were texting.
Yeah,
What's that?
I said yes.
Okay, you admitted it.
Yeah.
Better than the girl at Burlington High School this summer took her the iPhone 12 and threw it out the window. Who did it? All right, here's Mark. Mark's not gonna be too happy because he's got a $239 fine. But the big thing for Mark, he gets 5 points on his junior operating license, Mr. Chandler. What happens to him with his 5 points on his license?
His
Junior
license will be suspended.
Yeah, lose your license 90 days.
That's 5 points. Cool.
90 days.
That's
And actually,
4
what's
points.
gonna happen, Mark, you're on your parents' insurance. What's gonna happen, you think your parents' insurance, if you get a suspended license? It's gonna double probably the next 2 years. Alright. Yeah, so that's the penalty in Vermont. I don't know what the penalty is in, well, there's no penalty in Arizona, Montana, and Missouri. But in Texas, I don't know what the penalty is now. You could Google that and find out from me, but it's a substantial penalty. Now, the second part of this, Dr. Erica Sweet, who's she? Neurosurgeon, New Richmond. Little hand for Mark here. Alright. You're gonna take that and text me.
Okay, can I have a wallet?
I don't have it. Hey, get out of here.
It worked?
Actually, one kid, I took his license, so I think it was in Randolph. I forgot to give it back to him. I totally forgot. He keeps running after me. Hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark is gonna text me. Dr. Erica Sweet, I hope you really focus here. I'm sorry this guy's left because this is the best part of the, I think the most important guilt I've gotten in 4 or 5 years from Dr. Erica Sweet. All right. All right. When you're driving, according to her, and she knows so much more about the brain than I do, okay, you should only use the left side of your brain. The left side of your brain is a part of the brain that allows you to focus, pay attention, follow directions, do the rules of the road. That's the left side of your brain. Okay? So I'm driving along, I'm going back to my house here. After I leave this, I'm going down, I'm going to leave the parking lot, I'm going to stop, around Straits Road, take a left, take a right. I think I'll go down Packard Road. And get down to Route 15, stop. That's all left brain activity. It's all you should ever use driving. Now, when you text, you use the right side of your brain. That's the manipulative, the physical, the kinesthetic. That's the right side. Totally different parts of your brain. All right, so here we go. Get the iPhone 1 here. And get a text. You know, first of all, you take one hand off the wheel. See who it is. Oh, it's Mark. Mark's texting me. Oh, I can't dish Mark. Mark and I, we've been friends for years, right, Mark? Now, here's the right side, left side, right side, left side, right side, left side. Hey, Mark, how are you? He says, good. I say, Mark, where are you? Yeah, I'm in school. What class are you right now? He says, driver ed. Got a right side, left side, right side, left side, right side. Got a speaker today? He says, yep. Jim Carter? He says, yep. Pretty boring, is he? He says, yep. More boring than Mr. Chandler? Oh, he doesn't answer that one. News today. Left side, right side, left side, right side, left. What happens? I said, what happens? She said, well, after a while, your brain is not used to multitasking like that. You multitask all the time, but you don't use both sides of the brain. Where you're focused on one side, manipulative on the other side. So what will happen, so most of the time, people will take their foot off the accelerator, or they'll give it gas and go faster. You can't control your body function with all this going on. And then she said, you'll list to the left. What's it mean to list? Yeah, you'll drift to the left. Geez, if you're on Route 15, you're smacking into somebody. If you're on the interstate, you're going on the median. If you get nothing else out of this class, think of Dr. Erica Sweet, and think about how dangerous it is to text and drive. 47 states and DC would not make it a law unless it was really bad. Okay? Thanks, Mark. I know you want to keep that and play with it. Let's change channels here a little bit. Let's talk about seatbelts. Now, I've duct taped this together because I got this from George Rooney down at Middlebury High School, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. These are the first belts. Remember these, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you, Ryan, when you were 15 or 16 years old, these folks' age, your seatbelt use, never, sometimes, most of the time, always.
Always.
You've always been always. That's unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, as a passenger in a car,
yeah.
yeah.
Well,
However, I also grew up in a time where you could ride in the back of a pickup truck, and I would say then that would be sometimes, because there's obviously no seatbelts in the back of a pickup truck.
I was a never. Well, I grew up, I think I told you, in Windsor. We had cars in Windsor when I grew up, but we didn't have seatbelts. In fact, here's a good tip for you. And a good, when I was growing up, you talk to your grandparents, maybe even your parents. Yeah, probably not your parents. But in the US today, there were no seatbelts. Let me put a line through here. No seatbelts until first seatbelts in the United States of America was 1960. What? Give me numbers. Huh? Not 9.
9.
Who said 4?
I did.
4.
First try.
First guy.
Shut up. It was on first try.
Yes, I said 4 before
All
anybody.
right, what's your name? Congratulations.
Aiden Woods.
You
Nice
don't
to meet you.
win, you don't win anything when talking.
I'm sorry.
All right, Aiden,
Yes.
put this up. Tell me what, in the United States of America, what US car first had seatbelts? 4 letters.
Ford.
Somebody yesterday said Volkswagen.
4 letters.
That's
This is AP. This is AP driver
No,
ed.
that was a remedial question. All right. In 1968, Aiden, and anybody else, it became mandatory. What's that mean, Aiden? Aiden, what's mandatory mean?
requirement.
Yeah,
Has to be
every
done.
car made in the United States of America had to put seatbelts in. All right, didn't have to wear them. That's a state law. Every state has their own laws. What's our laws in Vermont, Brian?
Click it or.
Click it or ticket, yeah, that's the motto, yeah.
But it's a secondary offense for people over 18 if you're driving. In other words, I'm going back to, I'll say I'm going 70 miles an hour down Brown Straits.
Ooh.
And Officer Lodgman picks me up. He cannot pick me up for not wearing a seatbelt. He can only pick me up for I didn't put a directional light on, or my brakes don't work, but then he can get a fine for, it's a secondary offense, and almost passed to a primary offense this year, in this last legislature. Yeah, gotta talk to Mr. Squirrel and Mr. Little, our representatives here in Underhill and Jericho, and whatever, about changing that. That's my opinion. What do you think, Brian?
Great.
Yeah, should be, in my opinion, should be mandatory. Okay, now, this is a good safety feature, no question, kept in the car. All right, now this is 1964, as Aiden said. All right, now this is 1957. Now wait a minute, this guy Carter said 64. Well, how is this different?
Wait.
How is it, Mr. Barge? How is this different than this?
It's got the.
All right, Mr. Barge,
Yes, sir.
how would you rate this as a safety feature?
3-point harness?
Yeah,
The best.
this is the best. This is better than air brakes. Not air brakes, but this is better than head restraints, better than shatterproof glass, child restraint. This is the best seatbelt ever made. I'm going to put the name of the man that invented this, and I bet you put it on today if you came to school in a car or a truck. I bet you did. I did. This came in 57. All right. All right. So I'm going to go right up here. Anybody know the guy's name?
Henry Cecil.
His name is Niels Bullen. Now wait a minute, 57. 57 is 7 years after before 64. This is, huh? This is not the United States. He's over in Sweden. Now Sweden builds some very, very safe cars. One begins with V. Volvo is correct. And in 1957, Niels Bohlin invented the three-point harness. Okay? Greatest safety feature of all. Every driver ed teacher, every state police tells me, Mr. Langevin yesterday said this is the greatest safety feature ever. Ever. It hasn't changed. I'm gonna pass it around and you say, wow,